Welcome to Post Game Podcast. I'm your host, Joe, and I got my boy B Foster. Before we get into this Pistons Weekly Show, I want to remind everyone to subscribe to Bleachers Speakers on YouTube. Make sure you follow us for your audio fix on all the aggregators. Those are platforms like YouTube Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Anywhere you can listen to a podcast, you can find us at Post Game Podcast, FFSN. Make sure you go to those platforms, follow us, download those episodes. Make sure you hit that notification bell on so when we drop, you'll get a notification. Foster, we're going to do a Pistons Weekly, and we haven't done it in a while, but they haven't played much in the last week, man. I think it's like, let's see, today's Saturday. They played 2 games within the week. And you have an explanation for that. So tell the people why we haven't played so often.
So, I mean, right now they got the NBA Cup, which there's, mixed feelings about whether people care about that. It does create a nice compensation for some of the lower paid players. You can buy your mom a car, you can, but it gives fans and players something to play for in the middle of the season. So that kind of holds precedent over the rest of the league playing games. So, yeah, I think the last game we played previous to Friday was last Saturday. So it's all like one game in an entire week.
Wow.
Kind of boring because I watch a decent amount of NBA, NBA basketball as a whole. But as of right now, the best brand of NBA basketball for myself is the Pistons because we are rolling.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of footballish to have, one game in a week. But yeah, I'm used to, 2-3 times a week, watching the Pistons. But yeah, Pistons played last Saturday versus the Bucks, a revenge game.
Right.
And we played last night. And without any regrets or anything, we won both games. I think both games were pretty. I don't remember the Bucks game being a difficult game.
No, so the Bucks game was a blowout.
And last night was BTA.
Yeah,
last night was BTA. We were up by 30 at one point.
Yeah.
And you know what's even crazier about that, Foster? To be up 30 and nobody on the Pistons had over 17 points. Your leading scorer was Isaiah Stewart.
Yeah. I mean, part of the reason why was they stopped playing the starters. Obviously, if Cade and them would have got more minutes, they would.
But if you watch the game, Foster, there was nobody going crazy for 3 quarters. Everybody was just doing their thing.
Yeah.
So even prior to the starters not playing most of the fourth, it was pretty much that the ball was spread around, and it was more of a defensive effort more than anything. They have a clip that's up right now on Instagram. I think it's where they're defending the 3-point line, and they are they're closing out on the shooters and ultimately causing a turnover. And it was like, that's defense right there.
Yeah,
that's defense right there. And I noticed something last night, Foster. The rim runner, he has a lefty.
Little hook. Him and Stewart got a little hook.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they call him a rim runner, and but he gets it done. He gets it done. They played some defense last night. And it's crazy because we talk about defense and they scored 142 points.
I was going to say, you said it's a defensive game, but we put up 142 points. Like, it's wild.
And they put up 127. So,
No, 115.
115. We won by 27.
But that's what happens. And then part of that is because when you're scoring a ton, you're giving them more opportunities to score. So they're going to put up their 115. But when you lose by 28 points, or what was that? 27 points. Yeah. Does it really matter?
No. And then 115 is a lot different than 127 where I had it mixed up. But you hold a team to 115 now, defensively nowadays, you're doing pretty good. Yeah. And so, teams are accustomed to scoring 40 points in a quarter. You know what I'm saying? Not every quarter, but in a quarter.
And in the first quarter, I want to say it was kind of high. It was already kind of high scoring.
It was a high scoring first quarter, but after that, it got dark for Atlanta last night.
Yeah.
It got dark. You seen players from Atlanta getting into it with fans, and yeah, it got kind of dark, man. It got kind of dark, man.
It's frustrating to get cooked like that. I mean, we getting there.
Yeah, I mean, and they are without their best player, so it is what it is. They're going to have, but they do have a squad outside of that, though. They do have
Actually, they're without their two best players because Porzingis is out too. If you consider him to be the second best player,
I forgot he was even there. Has he played all year?
Yeah, off and on, but
yeah, they're probably a lot better off with him than without him.
No doubt.
And Trae Young, they need him in order. They're going to make a push. He must be seriously hurt because he's been out for a while.
Yeah, it was. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it was known that he was going to miss a good month or so. So yeah.
Okay. So the next time the Pistons play is what, Monday?
They play every Monday when we're recording.
That's
just what they do. Like,
and make sure you stay tuned for the Central Division Showdown on Monday. Whose turn is it to host, Foster?
Probably us.
I'm gonna try.
Give it a shot.
I'm gonna try to be home by 7:30. There's been a lot going on, and I'm gonna share. There's Bleachers and Speakers post-game podcast is not going anywhere. I have a job that's been keeping me there a little later than usual. I had a long talk with my director the other day, and he said, ideally, we're working towards your schedule being 8 to 4. So that's going to be great when it happens. It just has. I've been getting off at 6:30, 7 o'clock at night every night. 6:30 is early. So, and then if anyone's in the business of being a manager, and this is the time of year where we have to do evaluations, I had 85 evaluations to do from December 12th. Well, hold on, no. From December 3rd to the 12th. And you got to keep in mind, all 85 people don't come to work every day. You get like 20. I manage about 25 a day. And so those days mix and match with people being off, people being on. Some of the stuff I had to do over the phone. And these are just my evals. I still have my regular workload to do. So it's kind of crazy. And then last night I was dealing with the task the last 2 days that my employees' raises had to be put in by myself. I thought that was something that administration or payroll has to do, but I had to submit everyone that got a raise and change. I had to go in manually and change their pay rate. So sucks.
Got a lot of power there, my boy.
I didn't determine how much the pay raise was or who got it, so it's not that much power.
Oh, your evaluation isn't what
it plays a part in it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was a lot of people that didn't get anything. It's a lot of people. I don't want to go off on a tangent about this, but anyway, there's some people that didn't get anything. There's some people that got a 1% raise, and I know they're gonna be pissed off. None of my people got a 1% raise. Now, the people that got a 0% raise out of my people are people that just got hired.
Yeah.
So there's people that's been there 10, 15 years that got a 1% raise, and that was due to their evaluation. None of mine, though. It's crazy. So to get a 1% raise is like a smack in the face to me.
Yeah, especially if you've been there for a minute. It's like, dang.
This person been there over 10. Kind of crazy. It's gonna be smoke in the city once he finds out how much he's getting. Anyway, when we talk about work, I don't want to talk about work, man. I'll talk about Pistons. Speaking of work, who was Monday's game? Yes.
Damn, I should know this.
Boston, at Boston.
Yeah. I definitely wanted to.
Now, I don't know if you noticed, Foster. since Boston beat us, and I think that was the last game we lost, was it?
Yes, that they actually broke the streak.
That was the game.
Oh, no.
We lost a game after that. We lost a game after that.
We lost Milwaukee after that.
We lost a game after that,
but Boston broke the streak, though.
They've been on a tear ever since. I don't think they've lost ever since. So they're playing.
Really?
Check it out. Every time I check them out, they're winning. So I don't think they've lost a game since. I know they have a winning record since.
But they are on they just lost. They're 7-3 in their last 10, and they're on a 1-game losing streak.
Okay.
So, but that game was probably
about 5 or 6 games ago.
Yeah, let's see. They played since Detroit. Damn, when they played Detroit. So they played us on October 26th. No, we won that one.
Yeah.
Which one
was after that? It was November. I want to say late November.
Okay, so they beat us, and that was in the NBA Cup. That's probably why we didn't go to the NBA Cup. Right. All right, so since then, that was on November 26th. So they lost to the Timberwolves after that, and then they won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They won 5 in a row, and then they lost to the Bucks on Thursday.
Okay.
So they won 5 in a row. So they lost the next one and then won 5 in a row after that. So I see.
So they're 5-2 since they played us, but they've been playing pretty good. But
beat the Lakers, I think.
Yeah, every time, like I said, I've been kind of out the loop. But every time I look up, I check Boston to see what they're doing, and it seems like they won. Now I didn't know they lost to the Bucks, and I didn't know they lost to the Timberwolves. Didn't know that.
Yeah, 2 good teams. Well. This was a Bucks team with Giannis, and Timberwolves are obviously a good team. So
I was so mad when we lost to the Giannis-less Bucks that day.
Well, yeah. Well, he started the game, but he played like 6 minutes.
We were up for so long in that game.
Yeah,
we were up until the end, and then they hit some threes, and it was just like we ain't got no business losing this game.
And then Stewart got kicked out of that game too.
I think that hurt.
Shift the momentum, yeah.
That shifted the momentum and everything. That's when he held up his fist.
Yes. Put him up.
He said, "I'm gonna beat you." After this game, he said, after the game. I said, "What is he doing?" I said, I know he getting a tech. And that was going to be his second tech. I said, I know he out the game. I knew it. I said, oh, he gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we got to talk about your boy, man. And we're going to take a quick break. I want to talk about your boy though. What's his name? For the Bucks, the tall dude. He talking crazy to the fans.
What's Turner or
No.
Tall dude.
Portis? The other guy. Who?
Portis.
We're going to talk about Portis when we get back. Okay. Take a quick break. If you're watching, we'll be back in about 20 seconds. If you're listening, you're going to hear some wonderful ads. Make sure you subscribe to Midwest Ciphers. Shout out to Yo-Yo for that intermission, man. Yo-Yo be pissing me off, man. But he do great work, man. Shout out to Yo-Yo, man. Yo-Yo's dope, man. Anyway, Portis, right? What do you call him? He's calling crazy eyes or something like that?
I don't call him nothing, but he do have some crazy eyes.
He was talking kind of crazy to the fans in the front row. Like he forgot Malice in the Palace? Did he forget? We get active. That was in Auburn Hills. You better watch where you at. Nah, ain't nothing gonna happen. But still, he was talking crazy. I was like, I was like, man, and then the sound bites that they drop after after the fact, because you didn't know it during the game, but
Right.
the sound when they dropped them sound bites, they'd be hilarious. He was talking, wow, but that was a revenge game because we shouldn't have lost that other game.
Oh,
But
that was the game that was the get back game.
that was the get back game.
Gotcha.
That was at Little Caesars. That was the get back game at Little Caesars. Last night, man. Last night, I was just really impressed by the overall effort last night. If we can get, that effort majority of the nights, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. I want to ask you something, Foster, and we talked about it, in our chat group. But what is your take on Ivy thus far?
I like what I've seen over the last 5 games or so. The first 5, which is to be expected, he was a little shaky. He's coming off the bench. He probably won't start pending injury, any type of injury. He probably won't start unless he just takes off and you see a major, jump. But what's been important to me is that he's shooting efficiently. I think he's average. I think his field goal percentage as of right now is 45%. He's averaging 8 points a game, and he's shooting 38% from the 3-point line. So he's providing that outside shooting off the bench. He's relatively efficient from the field, and he's playing some pretty good defense. I think he had 2 steals last night. So yeah, he's steadily improving. You haven't seen the major output. I think his high this year is probably like 12, 13, something like that. But he's been okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I mean, I think it's too early to judge. He still has to get his legs under him. And for me, I don't know what it is. And this is with anybody with an injury. I kind of am on the side of caution anytime there's any kind of contact. Like if he falls, I'm like, oh my gosh. You know what I'm saying? That was a broken leg. So it's like, don't want that to happen. I used to do that with Paul George too after his, issue.
Yeah.
And it was like, but that's just, injuries happen. And when you have an injury like that where you can't do anything basketball wise for a long time, it's a long road to recovery. And I think it's going to be a minute, but if he can get, it's early in the season. So this is the time where you're going to go through those dog days, and he's on a minute restriction as well. So
he has not played over 20 minutes the entire season. 19 was the max, and he did that
recently.
Played 19 last night.
Yeah.
And 19 with the Bucks.
Before that, he was on a 15-minute restriction. So I would assume he's on a 20-minute restriction now.
Yep.
So that's going to increase, and I think his playing time will increase. I think your boy then got quiet a little bit, but I still believe in him.
Jenkins?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing less. I'm gonna pull up the stats and see what his minutes have been. Oh, well, okay. So on December 1st and 3rd, he played 27 and 24 minutes.
That's not bad for him.
Oh no, that's great for him.
Yeah.
But since then, the 5th, 6th, and the 12th, he played 14, 4, and 13 minutes.
Yeah.
And he has not had double digits.
He said what? Say it again.
He hasn't scored double digits for a while. Like it's got up to November 22nd, and he doesn't have double digits in that game. So
yeah, he's gotten back down to earth.
The minutes are definitely more inconsistent. So that's going to play a factor. But yeah, he hasn't had double figures. When's the last time he had double figures? It's been a while.
Here's my thing about a player like Jenkins, a player like Sasser. You just be ready when your number's called.
Yeah, which is kind of a lot to ask.
It's a lot to ask.
It's not easy, but
And he said that. I think he said that in his first interview after that big game versus Washington. He was like, it's very difficult, because, you don't get a lot of game time and, and you got to be ready at a moment. So it's just not, it's not easy at all. So he mentioned that, and it's a lot to ask for somebody. Just be ready, as far as, you never know if you're going to even play or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, looks like the last time he scored double digits was against Indiana on Atlanta on November 18th. So it's been about a month since he went for double figures, and he played 30 minutes in that game. That was the last time he got to play 30 minutes. So, yeah.
Well, I tell you what, Foster, there's a player that I didn't know how I would wind up liking, and I thought, oh, he's just one of those players that's, he's gonna get some time when people are hurt. I like Javonte Green.
I knew that's what you were talking about.
I like Javonte Green, bro.
He's like outside of Tobias, he's like he's definitely a uncle presence, and he's in his 20s, which is funny.
And
that's all it is. Yeah.
Hey, he hustles, man. And if he's hot from the outside, he's fine. He shoots at a good clip when he's hot.
Yeah.
And he'll take it to the rim too. So it's like, hey, he's not just settling for jump shots.
Yeah, so he's 32, and his 3-point percentage has kind of came back down to his average at 32, but he plays hard. I like him.
Yeah. Plays hard. He plays hard. I didn't know how it would turn out with him. I'm like, why are you getting him? When he was acquired, like, what do you need him for? I don't even know who this guy is, but he's definitely remember.
Man. Been around since.
Well, remember, Foster, 2 years ago, we didn't have any veterans like that, and that's what I thought we were missing under Monty. Like, we didn't have our go-to person was Cade.
We had vets. They just were hurt.
They were hurt. I mean, we needed that veteran presence on the floor.
Yeah.
And in practices. And if they're hurt, we weren't getting it. Remember, Foster, was the time we were waiting for Bogey to get healthy?
Yeah, Bogey, Monte Morris,
oh my God. That was a lost cause waiting for Monty.
Yeah, that was
me and you were saying when Monty gets back, when Bogey gets back, we'll be able to compete. Just never happened. And then Bogey gets traded.
What's his name?
Bogey and Monty gets traded, and they never really managed. I think Bogey retired.
Bogey retired this year.
Yeah. So we were actually playing depending on people that were on their way out of the NBA because Monty is overseas now.
That's right.
We were banking on people that were on their way out of the NBA. That's crazy. My.
The tables have turned 20-5.
Woo, we've come a long way. That was our first season as covering the Pistons too. It was like we want to show you we want to make sure you really want to do this.
Yeah, they put us through the gauntlet. They really tested us to see if we was built for it.
There was times where we used to be like, hey man, we lost 12 in a row. We're gonna win tonight. 17 losses in a row. Watch us win tonight. Foster, we come a long way, man. The expectations have changed. The roster has changed, not much from last year, but from year 1 to year 2, the roster had a little bit of an overhaul and a coaching change. And this year, we'd had a couple of changes, but the core is intact. We have a good core. I believe in Duran. There was a time when we was like, hey, trade bait. But, we have Cade, which we knew what we had in Cade. And now we got Thompson. He's dependable. He's going to play defense. The young bull, Holland, he's hustling out there. He do some bonehead plays, but he's out there hustling. He's out there hustling every night. So I like our core. You got the muscle, Stu. Got the muscle. And Tobias is so reliable. You need a 2-point bucket and you get him in the post, it seemed like he's getting that bucket. He's getting that 2 points. You need to, and he's by himself. I mean, he's isolated, one-on-one. He's going to get you that bucket. So we're in a good space. JB is coaching. JB is, he's putting a defensive effort. And I like what Karis LeVert comes in and does. It's like that other ball handler that we were talking about. That's him.
Yes. Yeah, I think he had like 8 assists last night.
Yeah. I think we're on to something. I'm still waiting for to see what's going to happen with Mr. Beasley. I'm still waiting.
I wasn't even gonna make it a point of topic at this point.
Well, it's like this, man. Whether or not he's a Piston, I'm rooting for him. I want him to rebound. I like comeback stories. This is not one where no Sharon Moore type of scandal type
Right.
It's not that. It's not, it's something that, I hope his name gets cleared and I hope he's able to resume basketball activities, whether it's with us or anyone else. So, because he's such a high character guy here. Like the players loved him. In the offseason, they didn't know what was going to happen. This is after the scandal. What did they do? They went to Europe together.
Right.
They hung out. You know what I'm saying? So it was more so than, more to it than just, a player on the team. They had a bond. And I think they still had that bond.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you, Foster, when is the trade deadline? Do you know?
That's a good question, but that's definitely something that I wanted to talk about.
I didn't know that. See, this is the chemistry here.
Yeah, see, we got the Piston thing going. NBA trade deadline is February 5th. For those who were signed in the summer, they are now available because you can't trade a player before a certain amount of time once they've signed. That deadline is December 15th, if I'm not mistaken. So you can start the official beginning of the trade season is December 15th, because any free agent that was signed this summer is now eligible.
Okay.
So like, for example, Karis LeVert, who was signed this summer, he is now eligible, not to say that he's on the move. He is now eligible. Well, not now, in 2 days, he'll be eligible to be moved.
Okay.
So you got a good 2 months where things can happen, because rumors are starting to swirl already.
Interesting.
Yeah. I had a question for you.
I'm listening.
Do you see us, because in my opinion, I'm kind of, I'm torn, pause, in a sense that I know that this current roster right now is not a championship roster. I think that once you get to the playoffs, a lot of these role players and two-way players, it's going to come back. It's going to come down to your best 7 players. And when I look at best 7, I see guys like Duncan Robinson as your starting shooting guard. That's not a championship starting shooting guard. So I know that if we plan to, not to say that Holland, Thompson, those guys that still have a ceiling to reach, not to say that they can't reach that level, but right now, we're not a championship team, regardless of how many wins we have. So I know that in order for us to, if we plan on making a championship push this year, we gotta you gotta take risks. Scared money don't make no money. Obviously, you got to mortgage some of your future to do that, to get like a Lauri Markkanen,
Mm.
Anthony Davis, those high-end championship players. But do you see them swinging for the fences this upcoming year?
Oh boy. I get what you're saying. I do. I get what you're saying. It depends on the expectations of JB. It depends on the expectations of the GM. Because for me, going to the championship, winning the Eastern Conference championship was not in the fold of a realistic goal for me.
It wasn't.
It wasn't at the beginning of the season.
Right.
Things changed. Things can change during the course of a season, right? Depending upon what you're doing and depending upon what the other teams are doing around you, right? Take, for instance, Cleveland. Cleveland has lost a lot of basketball games in comparison to last year.
Right.
We were assuming before any tip-off this year that Cleveland would be the number 1 or 2 seed, right? Also, you have teams that were up there last year that's not up there now. Pacers. You never know what you was going to get with Milwaukee. Chicago started off hot, but they're back to, where we thought they would be. And you have some Boston. The Knicks, they're playing good some days and bad some days. So now when you have a hot team like the Pistons, right, 20-5, you start to think, we should be able, if you're thinking right now, we should be able to win the Eastern Conference. Like, we're the best team in the East right now.
Yes. Yes.
So with that being said, your mind state might start to change. Like, okay, we can compete with the East, but it's very realistic for us to win the East. Now, can we make this team better with what we have? Sure. If you got 1 through 13 players playing every night, that's not a realistic thing going into the playoffs. You're only going to play about 8 or 9 players in the playoffs, right?
Right.
So, MSU Detroit fan mentioned, players 1 through 13. Let me see that. I put team in all caps because every Piston from 1 through 13 is playing some great basketball right now, right? Which means for me, you got some trade pieces. Like, you're auditioning some of these players because, and then low key, some of them might be ready to go because they figure I can get a payday or a starting position or a rotational. Instead of being the 12th, 13th, or 10th person on the bench, I can be in heavy rotation and compete for some money with another contract.
Do you see us making the big swing though? Because let's say you throw out names like Sasser, Green, LeVert. Those guys aren't going to bring you back AD or a Markkanen or a Trae Young. I'm just throwing out names.
Let me say this. I'll do you one even better. I'll narrow it down. You're not going to get Markin, whatever, from Utah. You're not going to get him. Yeah. And I give you 2 words why. Danny Ainge. Yeah. He's going to require the whole team for him.
Yeah, about probably Tobias, Asar, and about 4 picks.
Yeah, he's going to require way too much. You are better off trying to get the player you mentioned from the Jazz, I believe.
No, Markkanen. I mean,
not the Jazz, but from the Pelicans, I believe. And is that the player you're talking about?
Murphy.
Yeah. Is that who you mentioned?
I mentioned AD, Markkanen, and
you mentioned
Trae Young or something.
Trae Young. Not Trae Young. You're not. No. It would be somebody like Murphy from the Pelicans that you would get, that you would you would try to get. But is that a swing for the fences type of player?
It's not, but
And that's my point. They may make a move, but it may not be a swing for the fences type of player. It may be a player that would eventually help this team, but it won't be a franchise player that they're acquiring. They're going to get a very good player, you know what I'm saying, that would help this team. I do think that would happen. It just won't be the bigger names, because our GM is not going to give up our future so much on one superstar.
Yeah, especially when you're already in first place, and your only threat, I'd say, is
Knicks, Boston.
Knicks in Boston. Magic, I think we beat them both times, right?
We haven't had much luck with Cleveland, but they're doing bad against everybody else, so they can't be a threat, right?
Right. And the Heat have we played the Heat this year?
Yes.
I don't remember how that went.
We won.
Well, yeah, we won. We won. I guess that's safe to say. Yeah. Okay. Atlanta, they got a lot of injuries. Yeah. Toronto. Have we played Toronto?
No.
That's one that I won't say they're a threat, but I think they would give us a run for our money.
They've been giving everybody a run for their money.
I feel like we haven't played a lot of West Coast teams either.
No.
I haven't played the Yankees. We haven't played OKC. We haven't played LA. Yeah. He said
MSU Detroit fan says, I know we aren't in a draft mode, but everyone is saying this upcoming draft is really a good one. So although it may be picked 27 to 30, I wouldn't be trading first right away.
So what I was going to say is, if at this point draft compensation is something that's kind of obsolete. We didn't have a first round pick last year, and it hasn't mattered. Moving forward, I still think it probably doesn't matter. I think that more so than leaning into our young players like a Holland and a Sar Thompson, that's what we should be leaning into as the first round pick. But I did compile a list of a couple guys that I would be interested in us taking a swing at. Yeah.
What players are those, Foster?
You want to take a break, or you want to get right into it?
We took a break already.
Oh, all right.
You want to take another one?
No, we don't have to.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
All right. What players are on Foster's radar? We're looking at GM Foster right here.
Now that I think about it, now that I look at how good Boston's been, this is probably off the table. But so this is Anthony Simons. The appealing thing about him is that he's an expiring deal. We don't have to worry about paying him beyond the rest of this year. But he's another scoring guard. He played for the Blazers for a long time, and he can go out and get a bucket. This year, his minutes have kind of gone down because he's coming off the bench, it looks like. But I like what he brings as far as, obviously, you can see offensively, a whole lot of green. He can create for others. He can create for himself. He is a plug-and-play guy, which you see in the portability. This year, he is shooting – what is that? He is shooting 40% from three. Not super efficient from the field, but good outside scorer. And in his career, he's averaging 14 points a game. He's only averaging 13. But like I said, he's down minutes wise. He's down minutes wise an entire 9 points. In the past, 19 per game, 22, 20, 21. So he hangs around that 20 points per game. Expiring deal, and he would I think in my opinion, he's an upgrade over Duncan Robinson in in every way. He doesn't shoot as high of a volume of threes as Duncan Robinson, But he is shooting 40% from three. I'm not suggesting you trade Duncan for him because that would be counterproductive, but I think he's an upgrade off the bench from Ivy, LeVert, um, pretty much everybody, to be honest. Um, so yeah, he's like I said, he's an expiring deal. Depending upon what they would be asking for, I think Boston is looking for draft compensation. They already know Tatum's coming back. They know they have Derek White, already. So I think that if they can get younger, I think that they would take maybe even a Tobias Harris on an expiring deal, and some draft compensation. What are your thoughts on Anthony Simmons?
I like him. I like him.
This is his defense, though. This is kind of the down part.
Well, that's why you have a defensive coach, to help improve those things. I don't think the places he's been have really embarked on defense like that, but defense is a culture. So you have to go into a defensive culture to be better defensively. So if everybody's buying into this defensive system that a team has, I think you can bring a player that's not so defensive. And I've seen Duncan Robinson make some defensive plays. He's a clone, but he plays. He's taking charges. Last night he was playing some really good defense. So I think it's just a part of the culture. But I do like Simmons. I think he'll be a good addition. However, I'm not quite sure if there's a guard type of need to get us over the hump.
It's the shooting more than anything for me.
It's the shooting. We could use another shooter, but yeah, for sure.
I brought up the rankings as far as 3-point shooting last during the Central Division show. But it's by far our biggest weakness. We score at will in the paint, but we do have a lot of guys, even down to like Cade Cunningham, who's not a great 3-point shooter. We got Asar, we got Ron Holland. Duncan Robinson is probably our only, serious outside threat. Karis LeVert is very streaky, so that's just my thought process is having some more guys that can be an outside threat. So yeah, just a thought. Not so much the position of guard. We have a ton of guards.
Right.
Obviously, we have Ivy, we got Dennis Jenkins, we got Sasser, we got a ton of those. But as far as guys that you can depend upon in the playoffs to make a difference, I can't hang my hat on Jaden Ivey, who's never played a playoff game. Dennis Jenkins, Sasser. These are guys that have not contributed in a playoff capacity.
So I get, and I guess my the answer to Anthony Simmons was it depends upon who you're giving up for him.
Yeah, and I guess when you start talking about draft compensation, you probably want somebody that is going to be here longer than one season, because he'll likely. I don't know what his future would be beyond, what his future would be beyond the rest of this year. So do you want to burn a first round pick? I don't know. So, but I feel like we got to do something. You can't just leave it. I don't think you want to leave it as is with who we have right now. I just don't want to see Duncan Robinson starting in the NBA Finals. I don't think that is a safe move to do.
Yeah. Who's next?
All right. Who do I want to? Let's do this one. Oh, did it come up? Is this it?
Yeah. You just got to scroll.
Okay. Yeah, it did switch up. Okay, so CJ McCollum. We've talked about it numerous times. Go ahead. What are you guys?
He's 34.
Yes, but another expiring deal. somebody that maybe they don't ask for a lot, just because they know they're going to lose him. CJ McCollum is not re-signing with the Wizards next year. He's kind of stuck there, in fact. So I think that he's another obtainable player that we could get for not that much. And it's as far as the Wizards are concerned, it's time to let their younger players come in. So CJ McCollum does nothing for them beyond the rest of this year. But he's somebody that has hurt the Pistons in the past. From the time in the Portland Trailblazers to when he played in New Orleans to even in Washington. He's averaging 19 points this year. He's shooting 44% from the field, 40% from three. Once again, another guy that can go and get a bucket. He can play point guard. He can play shooting guard. Not a great defensive player, but, you can plug him in and he can play next to Cade. He's a smaller guard, but obviously Cade is a bigger guard. And you look at the offensive metrics, true shooting percentage, or shooting quality, 90, in the 91st percentile. He can create. He's portable. You can plug and play with him. That's crazy. But another 20-point scorer. He's an improvement over a Duncan Robinson. You just don't like his defensive metrics, though. But we have a lot of defenders that you can surround him with. You got Stewart, you got Duren, you got Asar, you got Ron Holland. What are your thoughts on him? Once again, expiring contract. You don't have to worry about him clogging up your salary cap for years to come because he is an expiring contract. Thoughts on McCollum?
Once again, it depends on what you're giving up.
What is the most you would give up for him?
It wouldn't be much.
Yeah, he's an expiring deal, so they can't ask for much. My thought process is the Wizards will take a couple seconds. That of course you can always flip a couple seconds for a first in the draft, but they know that they can't ask for much because he's expiring anyways, and they have no intentions of re-signing him. So. For him, I would say, I think he's a needle mover. So maybe you consider trading your late first round pick. We know that our draft pick is going to be 27, 28. It's not a lottery pick that we would be giving up. We would be giving up essentially a second round pick anyway. So
if you could do something like a Bobby Clintman in the second round pick for him, I wouldn't be mad at that.
Right. And maybe with them trying to stockpile high ceiling young players, maybe they go for something like that. He said, MSU Detroit fan says, who expected CJ and Cade to have 40+ point performances in a duel in this season? Yeah, CJ is a natural bucket.
Yeah, he's a bucket. He's a bucket, and that's someone you don't have to start him.
Right.
He'll come off the bench and do the same thing. I think he would be a good addition, but it's like I said, it just depends on what you're going to give up. I guess what I'm alluding to is, once again, it's another guard. If I can get a bigger player that can shoot, then we'll give up a couple more pieces. But we'll see what you got on the manifest going forward.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch it up and give you one just to close out. He's averaged 20 throughout his entire career.
He's a shooter.
Huh?
I like him ever since he got in the league. He's a shooter.
Yeah. 19, 20, 20, 20, 20. Like he's an automatic 20. Hasn't averaged anything less than that since his second year in the league, so he's consistent. He's solid. He doesn't seem to be losing a step. That's the biggest thing about it, is that if you decide, hey, let's lock him in for a couple of years, we know he's going to continue to score 20 points a game. All right, so I'm going to switch lanes. You said you want a bigger player. You're familiar with this guy. Hold on, I'm gonna stop sharing. This is going to be
you gonna set it up first and then put it up there.
Yes.
My producer co-host, man. I have the best co-host in the world.
You don't see anything right now, right?
No.
All right.
Don't see a thing. No.
All right. You said no?
No.
Okay. Let me speak my piece. I do have one particular thing that does worry me, but let's get into it. So this is a you said you wanted a taller player. He is what 6'7" with a 7'3" wingspan. Um, we have been asking for a power forward who can space the floor. Um, let's see what his numbers are this year. 43% from the field, not great, but he is shooting 38% from three. He's averaging 19 points a game this year, and he's pretty much averaged. He had a rough year last year, but he's pretty much averaged 20 points a game for the last 4 seasons. I like his defensive versatility. I like the fact that he can protect the rim pretty well. But yeah, offensively, portability, plug and play, 87 percentile as far as portability. He can create for himself and others. Shooting quality, 83rd percentile. Obviously, the things that I don't like, his turnover, his turnover rate, and true shooting, 61%. So he's hasn't been the most efficient this year. The last 2 years, he hasn't been all that efficient. But somebody that you don't have to start, although you would have, Tobias Harris would be in that deal. So he probably would start unless you put Stu at the 4.
Grant would be your starter.
Yeah, Grant would be your starter. And then you definitely lose some. He doesn't, I like the fact that we're familiar with him. He loved playing in Detroit. He still speaks highly of Detroit. He's offensively, I think he's an upgrade over Harris. The one thing I don't like is he's not a great rebounder offensively or defensively. You see his defensive rebounding, 27 percentile, offensive rebound, 38 percentile. So he's more of a finesse player, although he does give you some size. The scariest part about Jeremy Grant is the contract. If you remember, he signed that gigantic deal right before Portland, right before Dame Lillard asked for a trade out. So right now, as it stands, he's got. This is this year. He's got one more year. He's got two more years left on his deal because I think that he would pick up his player option. So he would be the cap hit is $35 million for the next 2 years. He's not a free agent until 2028. So that eats up a lot of your salary cap, and obviously we're trying to lock in Jalen Duren and probably Jaden Ivey with Asar Thompson waiting in the wings. So final thoughts on Jeremy Grant. You said out the gate, absolutely not.
And the reason being is that paycheck. I knew what it was coming in, to make the pieces fit, you got to do something mathematically right or close to, or you're going to take a tremendous hit on your cap.
Yeah. But you do have, I want to say, you do have Tobias Harris coming off the books next year, and
that's who I would think you'd be trading him for,
right?
Because you got to give Portland something for Grant. They're not going to take Klintman in a second round draft pick.
I think though, to get his money off the books, because it's a major alleviating of money off the books because Harris is gone after next year anyways. In order to get that money off, I think they say,
yeah,
take him off your hand, take him off our hands, so that we don't have to pay him until 2028.
Yeah, I just think that's just one of those things where, again, depends on what you're giving up. If you're going to give up a Tobias, a second round pick, maybe a Klintman as well,
You want to dangle Klintman. I don't think that's any type of a
I'm just making it more sweeter on, a sweeter deal
for us.
Adding Klintman to the Portland thing.
Yeah, because I don't think Portland looks at him as a
No. I mean, it's just just a little thing to sweeten the deal. But at the same time, and I keep saying Klintman because I believe he's expendable. I don't think you want to give up on Lanier right now. He's your one and only pick from last year, and he seems to be doing pretty well in the G League, and he's a shooter. I do think Grant is an upgrade from Tobias Harris offensively. You mentioned about his concerns, his offensive and defensive rebounding. I don't think Tobias is considered an offensive or defensive rebounding machine. So if you put Grant right where he is, you don't lose anything off, rebounding wise. However, you do gain a little bit more size, a little bit more, a little bit more offensively and a little bit more defensively. Tobias plays good defense, though. He's underappreciated there. But yeah, I think the only reason I would refrain from that person is because of the salary cap. Other than that, the skill level, bring him on. I think he would be he'll be a person that could take you to the next level.
Yeah. And let's look at Tobias Harris here.
Well, hold on. Before you do that, I just wanted to say we had him here before, right?
Yeah.
He signed a 10. It was a $60 million deal when we got him at the time, and he was pretty much in a lead role. With him coming, if you were to bring him back, he wouldn't be in so much of a lead role, and it would suit him better.
Yeah.
So with a cast around him, with a center like Duren, he would be able to space the floor, and with a playmaker like Cade who can score and make plays, and the other guys, I think this would better suit Grant this second time around. The only reason I would say no is the salary cap hit.
Yeah, they would have to, and maybe the Trailblazers would agree to pay some of it. I know they do that in baseball. I don't know if they do that in the NBA, but we do still need a power forward of the future. I don't see Holland being that. I don't think you want Stewart as your starting power forward.
No.
Bobby Klintman is not that. So the one thing about it is I think that he could play that role for the next couple of years, and that covers us. But when we look at Tobias Harris, you look at the ranking on both sides, very, very solid. Look at the defensive rebound. He actually is a good defensive rebounder. He plays good rim defense. So yeah, you actually lose some deep. I think you gain some length and athleticism, but you would be losing some defense and rebounding. Surprisingly, I don't think people realize how good of a player. I mean, there's no weaknesses outside of rim frequency, which is due to the fact that he's only 6'6", and some deflections because he's not super duper athletic. He's pretty strong all across the board. He's obviously missed a lot of time this year. He's missed a decent amount of time this year with injury, but if we decide to move Tobias, which he would be the big salary in any major deal, we would miss his all around play. So yeah, I just wanted to dangle out a couple names. Next show, I'll probably think of some more guys that we can kind of break down as far as trade candidates, but that's all I got today.
That's all you got today, man?
That's it.
No other candidates?
3 names. I got a couple more, but we'll save that. We're up on the hour mark, and I don't want to drag it too much.
Well, I think the best person out of those 3 would be Grant.
Grant, okay. You said no out the gate to him. That's the crazy part.
Only because of the salary. He's the power forward, the shooting, the stretch forward that we've always wanted. We've been saying that for 3 years. We need to stretch 4.
Yeah. And we had him, but it worked for the best.
We had him, but he was, like I said, he was dependent upon to lead the team, and I think that didn't do him much good, especially with what we had. Now he can just come in and just play. He doesn't have to lead anything.
Did he play with Cade?
No.
Oh wow! So this is before Cade.
Yes.
So he didn't play.
If he played with Cade, it might have been his first year.
He played with Stu. He played with Stu, Sadiq Bey, and Killian. That's who he was playing with.
Yeah. Go shine, young man. No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can wrap this up. We're at the hour mark. We can talk all day about Pistons, but why? Why are we going to do that? It's MSU Detroit fan said it's MSU basketball time. So
I wasn't going to put that on the screen. I didn't want to stir it.
Hey, I cheer for MSU when they're not playing Michigan.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
I'm not a hater, bro. I mean, I can.
That's your ops now. That's your ops.
I grew up in a Michigan household, so it was both, a little bit of both. You know what I mean? Anyway, want to make sure that everyone is subscribing to Bleachers Speakers on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Corner to Copa. Make sure you subscribe to Midwest Ciphers. Just subscribe to our YouTube channels, please. If you're listening and you never watch, just subscribe to the YouTube channels, whether you watch it or not. You know what I'm saying? Make sure the notification bell on. Hit the like button, share, comment, do all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Foster, we've had a great show. Let's get out of here. I hope you enjoy your Saturday. I want everyone to be safe. Happy holidays. Christmas is upon us. We are less than 2 weeks away, 12 days to be exact. Wow, that came up fast. 12 days away from Christmas. For everyone out there, be safe this holiday season. Drive safe. If you're in the Michigan area, last couple of days we've had some inclement weather. It was trying to snow earlier today too. That's crazy. But make sure you subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Corner to Copa and Midwest Ciphers. We got some more stuff coming on Midwest Ciphers very, very soon. Thank you.